Gentlemen, another off the cuff video. We'll talk a little bit about nightclubs and bars here in the West, and about communication, and about how behaviour is communication. A person cannot not communicate. Now, I want you to think about the way that women act in nightclubs and bars, and the way that they communicate through those actions, the way their behaviour and what their behaviour is communicating to the men around them. What do women's actions in nightclubs tell you about what they really want? Do you see women walking around bars or nightclubs, horny as fuck, hitting on guys, buying guys drinks, trying to get them back to their houses for sex? No. No, you don't. Never listen to what women say. Always watch what they do. Their actions speak louder than words. Same goes for men, same goes for ladyboys. Always watch and observe people's actions. Now, over the years, in Western bars and nightclubs, the behaviour of women can tend to grate on a man. It can tend to get very, very annoying, and very irritating. It becomes very tiresome because at the end of the day, as a man, you go out, you're looking for sex, you want to hook up with an attractive woman. But the way that they behave, you could be the most, the best looking guy in the club. You can be tall, muscular, well dressed, all those things. But even if you are that guy, and I've had my period where I've been that guy, and to a degree I'm still somewhat that guy now, because I'm well dressed, I'm muscular, I'm tall. I'm a lot taller than most men. I'm 6'2". I keep very fit, all those things, but it's still very difficult. So, if even the good-looking guys find it tough in a nightclub, imagine what it's like for everyone else. Now, the majority of men in nightclubs, you know the drill. You dress up, you go to the bar, it's around 70% men, 30% women. The women are playing coy. They're all dressed up, but they're not acting or communicating in a way that gives you the impression that they want to have sex or that they're horny as fuck. No. Instead, they're acting very coyly. They're all dressed up, but they can't determine what your status is as a man. What is your wealth? How many resources do you have? What's your income? What kind of job do you have? Where do you live? And so on. So what they need to do, they need to, by default, reject every man in the place. Now, I find that very easy to believe watching female actions in nightclubs because I've watched as very attractive women get approached, often by very good-looking, tall, muscular, fit, handsome men. Men more handsome than myself and the majority of other men in the bar or nightclub. And I've seen these men constantly get rejected. And it's very interesting because that experience here in the West, you think it's the same everywhere in the world, but it's not. And I'll tell you where it's not. It's not the same experience when you go to a place like Pattaya, Thailand, or I guess the red light districts of Bangkok, Nana Plaza. Now, those are notorious prostitution areas like Soi 6 Pattaya, Action Street, Soi Buakau in Pattaya, and Nana Plaza in Bangkok. Now, the people working there are obviously prostitutes, female prostitutes, male prostitutes, and ladyboy prostitutes. But it's very interesting to watch the behaviour of these people within that environment and compare and contrast that behaviour to the behaviour that you're used to back in the West in a nightclub environment. Now, I've had a lot of experience here in nightclubs here in the West, and I've also had a lot of experience in the nightlife in places in Thailand, especially Pattaya. And there are distinct differences between the behaviour of women and the behaviour of men and ladyboys within those environments. Now, let me talk a little bit about the behaviour of female prostitutes in Pattaya. The way that they sit there, you can tell what they're primarily interested in, obviously, is money. Anyone who's working as a prostitute, they're out for money. But even then, even then, the people involved in that industry, what I see with my eyes, the actions of the people in that environment indicate that the ladyboys and the men, they're the ones who are more excited about having sex, not the women. Now, obviously, there are some horny women involved, and obviously women working in that environment would be hornier than the average woman, all that sort of stuff. But if you actually watch and observe the way that the sexes, I guess, behave in that environment, it's very, very interesting, and you can come away learning a lot. Now, obviously, men and transgendered men have, a high sex drive. They really want to have sex, and that's evident in the way that they behave. You see the lady boys, especially, being very confident, very chatty, going up, asking, up to people, up to men, and asking them questions about them. Where are you going, handsome man? What you do? Why don't you come have a drink with me, etc. Whereas most of the women don't do that. There are some who do, but most of them don't. They'll sit back and they'll give you the eye, etc. But it's a world away and a world of difference to the way that the ladyboys and male prostitutes behave in areas of prostitution. So, there's distinct differences between the sexes and distinct differences in sex drive. And I think that accounts, if you go out to nightclubs here in the West and you're looking to pick up, it's like you're jumping through hoops, like you're some kind of circus animal or something like that. You've got to jump through hoops and meet all this stringent criteria to even get a woman to look at you. You've got to be at least 6 foot tall. You've got to be well dressed. You've got to be muscular, fit, lean. Make sure you've driven up to the nightclub in the right car. When you approach the woman, then you've got to know game. All this crap. Now, the whole subject or the concept of game. There are entire books written about this shit. In the pickup artist community, and I've read some of these books, and in the past, as a younger man, I applied some of the techniques. But as I aged, and I'm 35 now, I realised that I was turning myself into a circus animal, jumping through hoops for the approval of women, so I could get a little bit of sex. And the sex was often very poor quality, and it was with women who, at the end of the day, weren't the most attractive. And, I joke about it that I've actually had sex with better-looking men in Thailand than some of the women that I've had sex with here, which is just unbelievable if you think about the whole concept. I've had sex with better-looking men than some of the best-looking women that I can ever get here in the West. Which, what the fuck does that do to a person? Look what it's done to me. It's I still can't get over that concept now, because you go to Thailand and the types of people that you can have sex with there are a world away to the types of people that you can have sex with here. I mean, as an average to an above average guy, I've got access to below average women here. That's the bottom line. And the reason I've got access to below average women here is because all women look to marry up. They all want the alpha male. They all want the top dog, so to speak. And I'm not that person. Now, it's just the fascinating part. Obviously, is that that person. If you got married, if you had a family, statistically, he's likely to get divorced at some stage. So, I found myself, I was the typical beta male provider. That's who and what I was. But then I went to Thailand and I started engaging in all this high-risk sexual activity. And I've come out the other end as a different person. Emotionally, I'm a completely different person than what I was 2 years ago before I started to take these trips. Now, I think now my behaviour is much more that of an alpha, because I only want to engage with people on my terms. I won't jump through hoops for women. I won't do any of the shit that people want me to do. I'll just stand back and I do my own thing. I've gone my own way and I just don't give a fuck anymore. I just don't care. And for some reason, you know, women seem to see that as me being more confident. And because I'm not willing to jump through hoops, maybe that makes me more attractive. I mean, in their fucked up minds, this is just the way that things go. But I don't know. I guess this is a bit of a rant, but I just want to have make a quick video about this and just, I guess, guide you guys out there who are perhaps going out to nightclubs, looking to pick up, all this sort of stuff. Even if you are a man going your own way, you've got to ask yourself the questions. When you go to a club and you interact with a woman, you're both there for different reasons, okay? You're there because you want to have sex. You're a man. You need your sexual needs met. But women are coming at it from a very different place. They're more thinking about trying to find a man to, I guess, be a provider, to turn into a utility so that she can have her other needs met. And, you know, we know what a woman's primary needs are. You know, they're for security and for, you know, both emotional security as well as financial security. Whereas primarily the man's needs are for, I guess, for sex, and especially with different partners. Because that's, you know, monogamy is not really a natural state for man. But that's probably all I've got to say about that. But any of you out there who have been listening or watching my videos who have spent a lot of time in the nightclub environment, I put it to you, if you take a trip to Thailand, compare and contrast the differences in the environment there, and even compare and contrast it with the differences in the environment to a Western brothel. You know, you walk into a brothel here in the West, it tends not to be a great experience. I mean, I've gone to 2 brothels in my life here in the West, and both times it was just shit. It really was. But hey, look, Thailand's given me a great idea for I guess, a brothel here in the West. Wouldn't it be a great idea if you know, I started a brothel here, and the workers for that brothel all came from Thailand? Pack them into a plane, put them in a plane, bring them over to the West, put them in a Big Brother style house, but with no Western style influences, no television, no newspapers, no Western women. Have them live in the house for, say, a month and or perhaps 3 months, and during that time they only interact with the Western men at the brothel who are there for sex. Then get them on the plane and fly them back to Thailand and bring in a new load. I reckon we'd have the most popular brothel in town. I mean, think about it. How many of the women, if you go to a brothel, do you see, or how many of the women, you don't see the kind of women who are in Thai brothels, right? I've interacted with Thai women and Thai ladyboys over in Thailand. Stunningly attractive people that I think, you know, if they were here in the West, they'd be earning at least $400 or $500, you know, for an hour of their time in a brothel, which is just amazing how much money they could earn. But I'm sure it'd be illegal here in the West. There'd be rules and regulations against it. Well, we can't do this, we can't do that, we can't fly these people over, you can't keep them in a Big Brother style house, on and on and on. But I don't know, I just think it'd be a very good idea to make a lot of money as a brothel owner, because at a nightclub, you know that the majority of men that go are going to be either rejected or not even approach any women there. So they're going to go home and they're going to be disappointed. If they've got an option, a backup option, you know, that brothel, that could make a lot of money. All those guys would go there, and you'd probably be so busy and have so much business. You could end up making a fortune with it, but I'm sure that there'd be regulations against it. Here in the West, can't do it, so don't even try. But I don't know, that's probably all I've got to say about that. Just remember that men and women, and you know, they operate differently in clubs, and you've seen it with your own eyes, you've experienced it. perhaps get on a flight, go over to Thailand and experience the differences over there, and use Plastic's wheel, and you can probably you'll feel the differences. You definitely feel the differences over in Thailand when you're interacting with people over there compared to here. It's just a world away. All right, that's it.